Before we go ahead and get started with business, I just wanted to come on here and introduce John Skaken to the commission. He's going to be taking over as legal counsel for the commission. So I just wanted to come on and introduce him and let you know that he'll be here and he will be available for questions as they arise.
Hi there.
I look forward to working with you.
Okay. Let's see if they're, well, the new four aren't official yet, so I guess I have to make sure we have a majority of the regular five, which we do. So I'm going to call our meeting to order, and our other folks will, I know it's been short notice for folks, so we might not have everybody today. So it is 1:32, and I will call the November 19th meeting of the Akron City Tree Commission to order. Sarah, would you like to call the roll?
Sure. Viviano, here. Busco.
Aye.
Lash. Friedenberg.
Here.
Wyatt.
Here.
We have all members present except for Lash.
Okay. Has everyone who would have received them had a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
And are there any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Under unfinished business, we have the brochure, and I just called it up and took a look at it, and there are, right now, it has the list of the original 5 members. So that is one thing we are going to have to change. But I would like to get a copy of that brochure to everyone who will be serving on the commission, because I know it can be improved. I have no doubt in my mind. And now that we have 4 extra brains on it, I think we will have some good input. So that is the update on the brochure. Jeff, do you have anything more on the phones for trees?
I do not. I've tried to get a hold of those folks and it just didn't pan out. So I really don't.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just drop that from the agenda.
Take it off. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, for those of you who are new, Pat and Gabe are here. Welcome. We were hoping to have time in December where all of us can get together for a retreat, just to get to know each other and kind of figure out where we want to go for next year. Casey, you would be certainly invited to that. Sarah, could you tell us what we need to do in order to stay on the good side of the public notification law?
Yes, we would need to publicly notice that meeting, which we would need at least 24 hours in advance.
Okay.
So if we have some dates in mind, I can see were you planning to do this like downtown here in council chambers or one of our conference rooms?
Thoughts from other folks? Patricia?
Is this a regular meeting? Can we do it on a regular meeting time?
I don't see why not, because then that would be noticed anyway. Public notice.
That would be the 17th, I think, the third Tuesday, 1, 2. Yep, that would be December the 17th, which is be our regular meeting. Is that correct, Sarah?
Yes.
Right. Now yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to recommend a couple things for us to think about. Number one, we have that training in the beginning of January for tree commissioners, and I know everyone can attend. I think if we take that and then we can like train the trainer type of thing, and we don't have to notice that piece of it, and just kind of, have some expectations, learn from that session that we're going to have before we go into like a retreat thing that's got to be noticed to the public and everybody. We just have kind of like that training, if you will, and kind of give everyone who's new an idea of, like what's expected, and, maybe a brief history, just a training type thing, and then we don't have to notice it. I
Yeah.
think then perhaps go into, that would be like a half day or 3 hour, 2 hour, whatever it is, kind of where we would have an exchange and we could.
Yeah. Gabe and Pat, just to get you caught up, the Ohio Department of Forestry offers a tree commission academy. And that is for, and this one I think will be for new tree commissioners or anyone who's not gone through the training. Matt, do you know if there would be any way of getting our new folks in?
I've been in communication with Joe Moglin. He's the instructor.
Okay.
He's still trying to get a seat opened for Patricia Wyatt. So I'm just
Okay.
kind of waiting on him to email me back. I'm fixing to give him a phone call and see what's going
Okay.
on, because it's been taking him a while. And
Yeah.
how many seats are you proposing?
Well, there's 4 new members, so I think that's a little bit out of,
He might be uncomfortable with that.
yeah. New commissioners, I guess what you'll have to do is take our word for it.
There's Geneva. There's a class in Geneva, Ohio as well.
Oh.
Good. And that should be reserved for, and I know the city is sending quite a few folks, right, John? In terms of the city sending folks, but I think we need to ask our commission members to, be part of that. But yeah, and I'm glad we're sending folks from the city side, but commissioners ought to be able to go too.
I agree. Yeah, I'm going to try and get some more seats opened up. Geneva is an option if y'all want to get seats at the Geneva class. I bet it's a beautiful spot. So
When is that?
I was just about to look. I'll look it up and I'll get back to you before the end of the meeting.
Okay.
I'll have to find some of this information.
Gabe, in answer to your question, it's over 2 days. So we will be going January 14th and 15th.
Gotcha. Thank you for that.
And that's in Kent. So as we know more, you'll know more.
Matt, I'm sorry, Sarah, if I can jump in. Matt, is the training you mentioned in Geneva, is that the same time frame as the one Sarah's talking about, January 14th to 15th, or is it a different time frame?
Matt's finding that out.
Gotcha.
And Gabe and Pat, just so you know, Matt Null is our arborist. He's, John Malish finally gets to get rid of one of his jobs.
One hat down, 10 to go.
But he's relatively new, so you guys are all in the same boat.
The Geneva class is December. Oh wait, no, that's the registration deadline. The Geneva class. It is, shoot. It doesn't say on the registration form. I'll have to find it. I'll get back to y'all about when that class is.
Geneva might be a fun place in January, February. You have to have good snow tires and chains.
Right.
Yeah. Although, the way the weather's been, you never know.
Yeah, it doesn't. It says TBD. So I don't know if they've released the time or date for the Geneva class yet.
Okay. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
And other than welcoming you folks, We really didn't have a whole lot on our agenda. So Jeff or Patricia or Sarah, is there anything you feel needs to come before the commission now? No. Congratulations on your reappointment. Patricia's term expired and now has re-upped.
Thank you.
Yeah, something else to keep on our radar and asking the new members that are here, and I guess this is going to be part of our training, and I'd like to talk about that too. Hi, Brittany. How you doing? Welcome.
Hey, Brittany. Hi.
Yeah, we would, and just talk about this training piece and about, maybe we have like a brief presentation from, from John Hilkert, maybe a brief presentation from our new arborist, Mr. Knoll. Have the law department kind of sit there and weigh in or whatever from time to time. And of course, Casey Shevlin, I think, should be part of this training. And this should be maybe a 3-hour, 2-hour, don't want to take up too much of your time, but just kind of a training of like where we started, where we're at today, not really just a history, not to talk about any policy or anything like that. We definitely want to stay in bounds, but find out where we're at, the historical piece, and maybe even Jackie can say this is what we're doing at KAB, and also have Jessica, this is what Project Acorn is all about, and get that information. And also and it's kind of mentioned this on the new under new stuff, attended Sharon Connor's meeting, and there's something going on, and I just think we, the Tree Commission, ought to know what's going on in our city. Even in this project here is a Metro Parks. It's a Metro Parks initiative, and I think it noble, and I think it's what we should be doing as a community. Metro Parks. It's the Goodyear Heights Metropolitan Park on the west side of the park. Okay, near Morning View, I believe, and Simcoe, and a lot of those streets back there. If you're from the Heights, you know exactly where it's at. But what they're doing is they're going to be removing a number of trees. I guess these are non-native trees that they're going to be removing. I assume that they're going to be near the pond there. But they're, I believe, Norway maples. About 250 of these are going to go. And what they're saying is that they are not going to replant, because what they would like to see is they'd like to see it come back, I guess, in a natural way as opposed to forcing it. And so I think we could even learn from them as well in terms of some of those of us who are kind of naive about this stuff, but definitely one of those. And so maybe we could add them to the agenda as well on the training piece, just to find out what they're up to as well. I don't know if they inform us or not whenever they have these initiatives. Fortunately, they're talking to Sharon Connor's group as we speak, at her ward meeting, because it definitely has an impact on what it is that they're doing in the ward in the Goodyear Heights area. So I think things like that is the stuff that we should be at least be aware of, because there's also a lot of interest, I will tell you, after the articles have come out. There's been a couple referencing us, the Tree Commission. There's a lot of interest out there. So one of the things I'd like to see us cultivate and just think about perhaps down the road, but that is a Friends of the Tree Commission, because I've probably received 4 or 5 inquiries from folks who are interested in helping us. And so I think, that kind of structure, whatever that looks like, however, down the road, like I said, but something for us to think about as well, and to maybe add to our long-term or short-term agenda. So thank you. That's it.
Okay.
Unless there's questions.
Okay. Well, that's all good for a training. Is there anything else that needs or we could just knock around while we're thinking about it?
Yeah, Pat, do you have any ideas? Pat Selman? I'd like to ask him if he has any ideas as well.
Yeah, kind of along the lines of you're thinking, Jeff, I think SOSA, Summit Sustainability could help out, especially in regards to the regional activities. Because we had our tree symposium summit last month, very well attended, and talking with National Park, Metro Parks, Keep Akron Beautiful, had a really good interaction and came up with a lot of ideas that we're still tabulating in regards to trying to at least open more channels of communication in regards to what's going on in regards to the activities. And there's a lot of, I mean, just things with some of Metro Parks and the Akron Zoo, a lot of potential participants in those discussions. But that's one of the things I'd really like to see move forward. And I agree with you, Jeff, completely about about knowing what's going on and providing that education piece, and be more of a facilitator of bringing parties together, so that everybody's aware of what each person's doing. And the stuff that Jessica's doing with Acorn, I think, is another valuable component of that.
Yeah.
Providing, not only providing the trees in the nursery, but providing that training. And I think that's a whole nother aspect that the commission may want to look at some point, is
Yeah.
that training aspect.
Gabe and Brittany, the Project Acorn, in a nutshell, it's a much bigger project, but it's basically, we are going to develop our Tice Road property into a city nursery and employ certain population of youth and train them in arborist activities, growing, planting, that kind of thing. We haven't gotten the grant yet. It's not really started, but they're on the ground floor. Do either of you or Pat, you also have any questions for us?
I have just one quick question. Is there a share-based file location database somewhere where all the minutes and agendas are all kept, and any other information in regards to the ordinances and the plans? I know the tree plan is on the website in the most recent minutes, but is there some place where there's that historic catchment somewhere of all that information?
That's Sarah's bailiwick.
Yes, they are in our on-base system.
Oh, okay. I can't get into on base. Is there? I'll talk to you. We can maybe work something out. Thank you.
That would be something that would be good for all of us, I think. To be able to go back. I know one thing, Jeff, you talked about, one of the things that we as a fully constituted tree commission might want to do is look at the original ordinance. And is there anything on there that needs to be changed, expanded, whatever? That might be something we could also include at the retreat.
Agree 1,000% with that, of course, that we should review it. It's been a couple of years now since we've had it. And before that, just for FYI purposes for everyone, the tree ordinances and such in the city, before we had amended it, changed it about 6-7 years ago, it had been 50 years before we did anything with it. So I think a review of this is timely, especially with a new life that we're seeing, the new energies. A new person from the law department, welcome to our team here, and of course new arbors. All this new energy that we're receiving, we're really appreciative of. But yeah, I think looking at the ordinance, there's some other things too. Like a permanent funding source type thing. The Art Commission has a permanent funding source. So, maybe we may want to consider that. Again, I believe that there's so much interest out there, pent up, if you will, interest with regards to trees within our city, that that's something that I think can thrive, once we figure out the best path to get there.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff, I know Cuyahoga County has a new tree ordinance that's available, like a boilerplate ordinance. And maybe that's something we could take a look at if you're looking at Akron's ordinance.
Absolutely. Yeah, always receptive to stealing ideas from other places. Absolutely. I do have, is there anything else from anybody on this? Because I want to change the subject if we can. But
I just want to add one thing, Jeff, for Sarah, for you to consider in terms of this retreat and the agenda. I think that, and John Skaken, this might be a question for you, but there are some folks now on the commission that are new to sunshine laws, and I think some education about public meetings and
Yeah.
the rules that the commission is subject to, those sort of basics might be appropriate for that retreat as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
And
definitely.
if I could just jump in on that as well, I can work with John on that. I think we did some training when the tree commission originally got off the ground with respect to sunshine laws and those sort of things. So I think that's definitely something that the law department can help out with.
cool.
Yeah.
Great. Great.
Okay.
And perhaps what we could even do is, like I said, maybe have two separate sessions, one being the training and then the second being a public retreat, I guess, which doesn't kind of add up, makes sense, but with a new
Yeah.
about it.
Mutually exclusive terms. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, you wanted to change the subject, Jeff.
Yeah, just curious. This one's for John Hilkert. Did we plant yet this year or what? I know previously that the tree commission was asked to weigh in on those particular trees that may have concerns brought forward from the community. Do we have a list? Where are we at on the whole thing?
Do you want me to talk about this?
Yeah, that's fine. I think there's about 14 total.
Well, about last month, we planted 65 trees at Perkins Woods. It was part of a joint venture with it was Cleveland Clinic. A doctor there donated some money and we worked with them to get 65 trees in the ground there. So that happened last month. Next week, we've got 14 that we're going to pick up and hopefully get in the ground in the beginning of next week.
And where are those going?
Those are going across the city in tree lawns.
Okay.
Next year, I plan on doing a lot more. I've only been here 2 months though. So 85 trees, my first 2 months, I'm kind of thrilled. But in the spring, I am shooting for at least 100. I'm trying to get 100 trees into tree lawns. I mean, it's wishful thinking. The guys right now, the crews are up to their earlobes and hazardous trees and stuff that's dead and actively hitting people and causing problems. So they are very, very busy. Something I wanted to bring up to y'all eventually. I don't want to bog you down with too much right away. I've only been here for 2 months and I got a long list of things for y'all at the Tree Commission. I was going to wait till after the Tree Commission Academy, but I might as well talk about a few things now. I've got this master tree list and I'm trying to get some of the invasive trees taken off the list and some other species added in. I don't know what the process is like or if this is the best time or place to bring that up, but that is something I'm working on and I believe I'll need y'all's help with that.
Okay.
Absolutely. No, if you could forward that to all of us, I guess. And I guess I would approach John Malish, of course, because I think he was the master of the master planting tree list. So,
mine now.
Yeah.
He wants nothing to do with it. It's mine. So I can do what I want with it with y'all's permission, like within our ordinances and our codes and everything, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Let's
Now, just help me make sure I know what we're talking about. When you say a master list, this is the list that you use to pick trees.
It's Appendix 2 in the Master Tree Planting Plan.
Oh, okay. I've got that notebook somewhere,
Right.
probably holding down a lot of papers.
There
We
it
got
is.
this,
Yeah.
the new, it's a notebook about that thick. That has everything you'd ever want to know. So we want to basically go through and like get the Norway maples and the all the other invasive trees off the list. So they don't
Well,
replanted, right?
I don't want an angry mob coming after me, so I'm going to start out with the pears. Uh,
Okay, calorie pears. Yeah.
yeah, I want to get the pears eliminated from the list. I think it's uniformly been decided amongst the modern arboricultural world that the pears are an invasive species that are causing nothing but problems. So I want to eliminate those. There's 3 of them on there. And then maybe a couple of the problematic crab apples.
Okay.
And then in the place of those, I'd like to put better trees, better species that
Okay.
are less messy, that are going to be less invasive, ones that, everybody likes. So
All right.
I have it all figured out. I just didn't know if I should. I mean, I guess, Jeff, you answered my question. I'll send it to all you
Yes.
Yeah.
and we'll come up with a plan for updating it.
Yeah, and we could talk, later about something like that with Casey or something, if an ordinance is going to be required or not. Obviously, law would weigh in, but yeah, no, this is something and this is what we should be doing, is looking at this and discussing, the ordinance and everything as we move forward. The other piece of this, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but whenever there's excuse me, John can update you on it, but you had mentioned street trees or devil strip trees. What is it, 15 or so you planted this fall?
There's 14 going in next week.
Okay.
Those 65 last month went into a park.
Gotcha. Okay. I heard the
4 of those
65,
are street trees.
but for the notifications and such for the street trees, call them, lack of a better term, if they want to peel it and if they don't like the tree going in, we are that. We're the folks where they can appeal and come to us if they don't want a tree, because at times people don't. So a lot of times we're kind of like the backstop on some of that.
Right now, to cut down on the angry phone calls that are coming into my desk, I'm just planting the trees for the people that really want the trees.
Okay, that's good then. I get that. But then again, I'm hearing from you that in the spring, we're going to have a much more robust, and we may end up setting aside time, because it is. And I mean, and sometimes it's just an education piece, and we spend a lot of time. That's the one thing about the commission we've done extremely well, I think, and that is looking at the notification, looking at the, setting up that appeal process if people wish to appeal. So we've done that in the past, and I think that was pretty successful. But yeah, planting them where they want them, that's cool and good.
Yeah, one day I'll ramrod trees, into the tree lawns, whether they like it or not. But baby steps.
Well, what we like to do though is give them a notice beforehand, and not necessarily ramrod, but just kind of like say, hey, look, we're gonna put one there in a couple weeks for you. And after we put that up before a certain date, if you wish to appeal, you can appeal to the tree commission. And I can educate you on that process too, offline. So thank you.
Absolutely. That'd be awesome. I also applied to the Arbor Day Foundation, Tree City USA. I got that signed by the mayor yesterday and applied for that. So in doing so, I ended up going over the whole ordinance, and I made a bunch of notes for
cool
suggestions, changes. Like I don't plan on doing that anytime soon, just because I thought it would be extremely difficult. But I'm really happy to be talking about it right now. That's the first step, because there are some changes I want to make to the ordinances at some point soon.
Okay.
Yeah. I could tell you, whenever we adjusted that ordinance after 50 years, well, Rich Swirsky and I, along with our friends in the law department, as well as public service, it probably took us about 2.5, 3 years to go through it, because we did. And as you could tell, it's pretty extensive. So I'm guessing our friends in the law department are going to be updating us on that as well, down the road. So whenever we do have that opportunity for the education piece. So cool.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay. Anything else? Brittany, Gabe, Pat?
The only question that I had, I guess circling back to Project Acorn, I know, Sarah, you mentioned it earlier in the meeting and we briefly talked about it as far as, I guess, expecting some of the funding to hit sometime in the coming months or next year or so. Are we expecting, I know the award announcement came out last year, so are we just expecting funding to hit, or has the situation changed since the announcement came out last year?
Not that I know of.
There's formal process. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, go ahead, Casey. You're probably more aware than I, but I know that they've already had a kind of a stakeholder meeting, right? Casey?
Yeah. Jessica had an initial stakeholder meeting, and the working groups have been meeting. So the process is moving forward. There's no delay. There was no delay, really, Gabe. It's just that there's a lot of bureaucracy in big grants like this. And from the time that you're announced as the winner to reaching a grant agreement, which is a legal process, like there's a lot of paperwork involved in that. And so we don't like get money as soon as we're announced as the winner. There's like a formal process that then has to take place, which is totally normal and par for the course.
No, that makes sense. I was just curious. And as a federal employee, I'm well aware of bureaucracy, so understandable.
I did have, so sorry.
Go
Hi,
ahead.
everyone. I did want to, I guess, kind of get caught up, as Pat was mentioning. So, Sarah, as soon as we can get that information, because I think it is important, I guess, to just get caught up to speed on everything. It sounds like we have a lot of reading and questions probably to jot down as well. You mentioned OnBase, and I am familiar with OnBase. I actually work on that project for my job. It's like, that's my whole job. So will we get like a login to access those documents, or will they be downloaded and emailed to us? I guess I'm just wondering how that information will be distributed.
Need to work with our IT department to see how they would like me to handle that.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll let all of us know about, because it would be interesting to go back through our archives. So.
And then I just have one other question, just because I am brand new. So we're meeting now, and then there's obviously another meeting scheduled, and then we meet every third Tuesday. So what does it look like between meetings? Like, is there work for us to do? I guess homework, so to speak. Like, what should we be doing in between the times that we meet?
Okay, what I'm going to do is, and you weren't here for this part of it, we had developed a brochure, and we've used it, very sparingly, but obviously it needs to be brought up to date because it doesn't have all of your names on it. And I just want you all, and Matt and Casey, I'll send it on to you too. I want as many eyes on it as possible so we get a decent brochure. I mean, I know everything's done online, but there are some old folks like me who do default to paper on occasion. So I think for next meeting, I think everybody looking at that and putting in your 2 cents worth so we can get something going at the beginning of the year, and maybe then wait until after the Tree Academy to make sure that that we have on that anything else we need.
Sarah, you gonna send a brochure back out to everybody?
Yeah.
To do that, you need to first be added as a member in the home settings.
Sarah, can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
I know that you know Brittany and Gabe and Pat, and I do too, but I don't know if Patricia does or the rest of the commission. And I know they might not be official members today, but since they're here, could they do formal introductions for the group? Is that okay?
Yeah, I was just going to get to that. I realized that.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. Each of you, and jump in whoever wants to first, and just give us a little bit about your background, what made you interested in being on the tree commission. And we'll get Jackie Raschuti, who's head of Keep Akron Beautiful, next time when she can be here. So
I'll start. I'm Patricia Wyatt. My husband and I run the North Hill Community House on Howard Street. We do a lot of community things, food pantry, tutoring, mentoring. So we have a community house that we do our programs and things out of. I've been on the commission now for 2 years. I was asked by Jeff when they first brought it back up to be a part of it because he thought I would be a good fit for it. And I do love being on it. I like learning and growing and being a part of this wonderful commission. And it just gives me more insight on how the flow of our trees and our parks and things work. So it's a really good commission to me to be on, and I am thankful to have you all join us.
thank you. Well, I'll jump in just because I seem to be running this show. My name's Sarah Vradenberg. I have lived in the Akron area since the early 70s. I was born and raised in Cleveland. My career background, for all practical pretenses and purposes, is I worked for the Beacon Journal when it was the actual real Beacon Journal, and mostly wrote editorials. I've been retired for a number of years, and I'm a Summit County Master Gardener. I have a passion for trees. The room I'm sitting in, I won't pick up my iPad, but it's full of trees. It's got pictures of trees. It's got sculptures of trees. It's also my plant room. And I am extremely honored to be on the tree commission and serve as its chair, although I will let you all know as we get ourselves organized. We've got everybody. Well, I've got 1 year left, and when we get ourselves organized, if you guys decide you want a different chair, you can go right ahead and do that. I will not be upset, because eventually it's going to have to happen. So, but that's just leaving that open. That's pretty much me.
Okay, as a newbie, I'll go next. Pat Selman. I was actually in private consulting for 9 years, mostly civil engineering type projects, water, wastewater, stormwater. And then I became the City of Akron industrial pretreatment engineer for about 10 years, working under Mr. Crandall, Dave Crandall. Those of you remember Dave from way back when, but Dave got you involved in everything. Mm-hmm. So he had me doing everything from the stormwater remediations, and we got into the CSO program. And then I moved over to the engineering bureau and was the Akron Waterways Renewed program manager for, between that and engineering, 25 years. And recently retired from City of Akron, and now I'm employed with the Environmental Design Group, and I'm assigned as a technical advisor to the city's program. But as part of the AWR program, I was instrumental in the 2-for-1 tree swap. So every tree that we took down during construction, we replaced it with 2 trees. And you'll see some of the low density areas for tree canopy are where we build a massive combined sewer overflow project. So eventually we'll make up for those with the 2-for-1 program. I was also heavily involved in the green infrastructure projects that we amended our consent decree, which were significant in not only reducing the number of, I'll say, tanks and tunnels and gray infrastructure, replacing it with rain gardens and vegetated swales and all kinds of neat things, especially out in the East Akron, Middlebury neighborhood. We've got a half a dozen beautiful little projects out there, neighborhood projects. And then despite all that, after spending $1.2 billion of the city's money for CSO control, the city's done everything it can in regards to controlling those overflows. And really, in my mind, the next step, especially in regards to climate change, is the green infrastructure. We're not going to be able to store and remove much more wastewater, stormwater. And obviously, everybody in this group knows the huge benefits in regards to stormwater with the tree canopy. And in my mind, that's the best way at this point to combat climate change in all the aspects that you get when you don't have a tree canopy. So that's really my love, and why I talked to Jeff about the commission was just my desire to improve the tree canopy significantly. And of course, the understory that goes along with that tree canopy. And then just more recently, I put in a plug for SOSA, but teamed up with Beth Vild on the Life on Land team. And we've held two excellent, I think, workshops. Most recently was last month in regards to tree canopy and talking with all the parties. And I do think I have a pretty good relationship with Metro Parks National Park, the zoo, all those players that I think can really enhance our discussions with the Tree Commission. So that's why I'm here. We're going to solve climate change through the Tree Commission. So I hope everybody will get on board with that. So thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Pat.
I guess I'll go. I probably definitely should have went before Pat because that was very impressive. So hi everybody. My name's Gabe Forte. I am Northfield resident currently. Born and raised in the Cleveland area. I currently work as a management and program analyst for USCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. What that means is I do a lot of IT program management and general contract support and oversight for a lot of things for the IT infrastructure and operations for that federal agency, which is the Department of Homeland Security. I am here, probably wondering, well, how does someone with your background kind of fit in with some of this? When I lived in the Cleveland area, I became very, very involved with the Cleveland Metro Parks, which I'm still involved with. Got involved heavily with a number of volunteer operations there, one of which notably is the Watershed Volunteer program. So got to learn a lot about the ins and outs of the waterways in Northeast Ohio, and studying a lot of those things, doing sampling, learning about a lot of things that residents can do as far as improving their general health and things of that nature, and really just kind of going from there. And that kind of carried over when I ultimately moved here a few years ago. And yeah, one thing led to another, and still managed to be civically involved. Got involved in a few organizations here, whether they be torchbearers or actually got referred over to SOSA, which I plan to get re-involved in later on this year. And yeah, just wanting to stay involved and engaged in things. So I'm on the board of a few organizations here as far as Northfield CDC. One of the local YMCA chapters, Riverfront YMCA, and yeah, just really want to do what I can and serve to be an advocate for the people in my community and just the greater Akron area itself as well. So happy to be here, happy to learn, and kind of going along with what Brittany was getting the spirit at, as far as just wanting to get engaged and help out wherever I can.
Great.
Yes, nice to meet you all. I am Brittany Robinson, and I am actually a native of Akron, but I say that I'm from Houston. I grew up in the South, that's where I spent most of my time. And I moved back here to Akron almost 5 years ago now with my family. And I am a naturalist. I love being outside. I'm just coming back from lunch. I did a short hike in this weather. Got my hiking poles right here. So I love being outside. Obviously, I have children, so I love to teach. I love to educate people, especially people of color and minorities, on the importance of nature. Pat, when you said we are going to, reduce and eradicate climate change, I'm like, yes, we can do this. I'm so optimistic that we can make some, really big strides for it because it really starts with education. And I would love to bring that piece to our community, especially for like the younger population, just helping them to understand. I see, gosh, I can't believe I just said the younger population. I guess I'm like in the middle age now of life, but I see so much disregard for just like all the things that we should not be taking for granted, like our trees, like our native plants. I know, Sarah, when we met, we talked about gardening, and I've started my garden, and now my leasing office is wanting me to like go to different properties and sort of just like start doing some things. So I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, starting a winter sewing program, just like with my own community. And I think as easy as that is to do, like that's just so easy to do. And yeah, so I guess with my work, I work in IT for the Metropolitan Housing Authority here in Akron, and my major project is going paperless. Hello, save trees. So I help departments within our agency rely less and less on paper. So I love the idea of getting even that brochure in the hands of people who are maybe they're visually impaired. Let's get it online. Let's get some accessibility options for it being read. I'm also an author. I love writing. I love doing voiceovers. So I would love to just bring, and just tie all of my passions into one of my huge passions, which is, like I said, trees and nature. So I just see this being such a beautiful part of my life, and I'm passionate about it. So I would just love to do whatever I can, to further what the city has already started doing. And I will say that since being here in Ohio was one of my main reasons for moving here and not anywhere else, was there are some of the best parks here. I don't know that most people here know that. So where I'm from, where I grew up, like there was not very many trees. It's all flat. It's hot. So it's just a breath of fresh air to be here and just to be a part of this commission. Because from what I've read, from what I've seen, from talking to Casey and Sarah, and even just learning and making connections here in the area, I think that there's a lot of good work that can be done. So I'm excited, and it's nice to meet you all.
Fabulous. Yes, Gabe.
Oh no, I was just waiting. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought you were raising your hand. Any other contributions?
Just briefly, obviously, I'm the old guy here. Sarah, I don't think Sarah B. Have you said anything?
I have not yet. Would you like to go first?
By all means.
I'm Sarah Viviano. I'm the clerk of council here for Akron City Council. My position is listed in the ordinance as one of the members of the Tree Commission. I serve as the commission secretary. I appreciate the knowledge that I've learned from serving on this commission, and look forward to continuing to learn.
Fabulous.
Jeff Fusco on Akron City Council, of course. And whenever I was a lot younger, I hung out a lot at the Goodyear Heights Metropolitan Park. I'm kind of glad, parks can't talk. I might be in trouble. I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today if it could. So, but always appreciated nature and kind of lost that for a bit. But my friend Rich Swirsky brought me back to it. Rich Swirsky, former Ward 1 council representative, had died in office a couple years back. But him and I started on this a number of years ago on the tree piece and bringing forward, working, like I mentioned earlier, about 2.5 years, 3 years on it. Finally got it done with the help of John Malish and John York, I believe, was part of that. And we fashioned an ordinance. And I'm proud of that, all that work, because this is one of the outcomes is the tree commission of that work. And I'm just moving forward. I'm so excited with the new folks in. I'm very pleased with Casey and all the work that she's done with regards to that. And I feel a renewed energy with us. We've done some things in the past few years I'm very proud of, but I think that there's a lot of interest in our city and just looking forward to this. I'm very excited about our future. Thanks.
Yep. Anybody else? Okay, well, I think this is, I believe, a record for the length of our meetings. And I really appreciate everybody's contribution. I will, Sarah, if you could be sure I have everybody's contact information so I can send out the brochure, and Matt's going to do the master tree list.
Will do.
Okay.
Sarah, is it possible that, I don't know if we have one, we probably do, but can we just do like a formal, contact list and person's name so that we can have everybody's name that's on the tree commission personally?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be great. Okay.
And I just, if I could,
Absolutely.
or extend any of the new members or even the new employees for the city, if they have any questions about some of that historical stuff or whatever, please feel free to contact me. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, Jeff would have the history, given his work with Rich. I was given the job just before Rich died. He said, make sure that the ordinance gets passed and that we have a tree commission. So between Jeff and me, Rich was a great friend. And it's to his honor that we have this. So we'll call it the Rich Swirsky Memorial Tree Commission Ordinance. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Does anybody else have anything before I adjourn?
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Y'all have a safe and fun holiday. Happy Thanksgiving.
Same. Okay. Well, we'll see you in a month, and you'll be getting some stuff in the meantime.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.